Welcome everybody to my next video where it is Thursday and I woke up feeling kind of sick, but it is already like 2 o'clock and I felt like I should do something. And I'm wearing my Phil Collins shirt. I'm also wearing, romantic gray contacts. That's the shade from yesterday, if you saw yesterday's video. And today I'm gonna be actually working on my cosplay because I actually haven't worked on it in a couple days and I actually don't even remember what I've done yet, or what I've done so far, what I was really working on. What I do know is that I'm trying to get the armor going for the armor. This is like an armor piece, or there needs to be like an armor piece up here, so I'm gonna move this right here. But basically, I'm gonna use this stencil to make actual armor. I mean foam armor for the cosplay. So I use this kind of stuff. This is foam, which is really durable. I mean, as far as like crafts go, it's better than paper. And kind of like, here's an example. You can make stuff like this. This is how I made a lot of my like armor-ish pieces. I made my Widowmaker cosplay helmets with it. And most of my Widowmaker stuff was actually made with foam armor. And you know what? I have an example to show you. So I will go be right back. Okay, so here are some examples of things I've made with foam. This is the first thing I've ever actually made with foam. It is a helmet for my Widowmaker cosplay. Check this out. It actually attaches to the hood with Velcro right here and right here. But basically, it started off just like this with paper, and it takes like a certain like 3-dimensional motive. You have to have an idea of how this could transform into something 3D instead of like 2D, you know? So here's like one piece, and I cut like the equivalent of like darts in fabric, where when you make a slit, you can like bend it in so that it has like, it's now like concave or convex, depending on how you look at it. So here's another thing that I made. This is actually the belt that I made for my Widowmaker cosplay. And I can easily put like Velcro in it, and it's all painted and stuff like that. But it started off with paper too. And it's just like awesome because it's just awesome. So these are the kinds of things you can make with foam, or EVA foam, that's actually what it's called. And I have a bunch of it. So I'm gonna start with seeing what stencils I can make out of this. All right, so the vision was that there was gonna be 2 circles, one right here and one right here, and then all the lines here. And so I'm gonna use all of these like little lines to be their own thing. Like you can see that this right here is like one piece, right? So I'm gonna kind of use this to like make a whole bunch of other stencils. All right, so I think the first thing I'm gonna attempt to make will be, how did I say this was gonna work again? You know, it's probably better if I have my iPad here while I look at the picture of the armor so that I can have that like in my mind, because obviously my phone's like right there. So I'll be right back. So this is it. And my mom actually gave me this glass ornament piece. It's actually glass, so this is something that I could incorporate into my cosplay. It's pretty similar to the shape or size that I want it to use. So how am I gonna do that? Okay, so first things first, I think I'm actually just gonna make, the circle out of foam first. So this is the circle, and I'm thinking of making it like about this size, and then the glass piece is gonna be like, kind of like how it shows in the picture. I mean, I could totally like show you guys a picture. And you know what, I'm gonna show you the picture. But there it is, there's a picture. I already said I was gonna do it. So there's the picture. And let me see if I have any extra scraps. So let me show you what I have in my scraps box. It's right here. So I actually bought this giant bin at Target so that I could just throw whatever I wanted in here. Okay, so here's some foam that I have left over. How thick do I want it to be? I think I need it to be kind of thin. So EVA foam comes in different thicknesses. This is really thin, for example. Like you can kind of tell, right? How many millimeters is this? It doesn't say. It does not say because this is actually technically craft foam for kids. And then this one is actually, I think, like 5 maybe. How many millimeters is this? It does not say. It seems pretty thick, actually. It's really, really thick, way thicker than this. But what if I want something like in between? But yeah, I have a bunch of foam. Like so much foam that I don't have to worry about like messing up. It's awesome. I am a foam addict, you could say, because I always mess up and it's good to have extra. And it's also pretty cheap. Like how many cents was this? I'm not sure. This was like probably expensive, but like one of these sheets is only like $1 something. I don't know why this one was expensive, but I can tell that this one has like a higher quality to it because everything I've made out of it has been really nice. It's also just like easier to cut. I also have sandpaper in here because before I got a Dremel, I needed to be able to like smooth out the edges. What else do I have in here? Just a bunch of other scraps of stuff. This is hard. I also have gray, so I don't even have to paint it really. This is gray. All right, I'm convinced I'm gonna be using the nice one. I decided that I'm gonna be using the expensive one because why did I spend money on this when I'm not gonna use it? Well, I'm using it for this. What I said earlier was that I was gonna make the circle first, right? The centerpiece, both centerpieces. So that means this. So I'm probably gonna give you guys a better angle of what I'm doing so you can see what I'm doing. The first thing that I do when I do this is trace it with a pencil. So I just take a side, I try to preserve as much as I can. And then I just get my pencil and then I trace all along the side of it because that's why I make these stencils in the first place, right? So here are a bunch of knives. Here are a bunch of knives. This is a whole casket of knives. And I don't know which knife to use because some of them aren't as sharp as the others. But that's okay because this is actually really nice foam and it won't tear as much. It won't get angry if I don't use a good knife on it. I would like to have just like one good knife and maybe like a knife sharpener, but I couldn't find one. I actually just decided to buy a set because I simply couldn't find one. So what I do is I turn it into a knife from not a knife, and then I just kind of go around it. Oh, and something that I try to do is bevel it while I'm working on it, because I see that it is beveled in the picture. So let's see what I can do. Wait, actually, I kind of want the circle to be a little bit bigger, right? Because I just decided that I don't want, it's weird that I decided this now, but I decided that I kind of want the circle to be slightly bigger than this. So I'm gonna make that right now. So if I want it to be slightly bigger than this one, I'm gonna have to measure it so I know how many centimeters it is in diameter. So it is 10 centimeters wide. The diameter is 10 centimeters. So that means the radius is 5. So I'm gonna have to make it a little bit bigger if I want it to be bigger. This ruler doesn't really work. I think this should be good enough. So let's see what shape I can make doing it like this. This actually might be too big, and you know what? I'm gonna make it even smaller. You know what? I keep making it, I keep messing this up. I'm not getting the size that I want. Okay, I think I finally finally got the size that I want. So I'm gonna remake this stencil. But where are my scissors? What did I do with them? Oh, they're over there. I'm gonna cut it out, and this is gonna actually be the stencil that I'm replacing the other one with. And that's okay that I already drew on the phone because I'm still gonna use it. I'm just gonna have to like not use that side, that's all. It's totally fine. No one is gonna see it, absolutely no one. That's why I love cosplay, because there's so many steps to it that even though you mess up just a bucket ton, you will have amazing results if you just keep going and keep thinking of ways to cover things up. All right, so I have my new stencil, and actually I'm not gonna use this cutting mat because this is my mom's and it doesn't have any cutting marks on it yet, and I don't know why or how she was able to avoid that. So instead I'm gonna use my own cutting mat. That's kind of disgusting. It has like glue on it, dried glue on it and stuff. But that's okay because I'm just like wondering, like, if my mom never got scratches on it, even though like what it's for is like a cutting mat, hers is bigger than mine, then how did she not get scratches on it? Is it because she doesn't want scratches on it? I don't know, I should probably ask her. I don't think she really cares that much. She said it was actually older. I don't know what's up with that, but all right, so this is what I said I was gonna use. Now I can finally show you that I use a knife, how to use a knife. And I shouldn't have left the knife open like this. Here we go. I'm gonna use a bigger knife. I don't know if this knife is better, but I kind of just use it like a pencil. And then I just trace the line. And then I turn the paper because the way that I'm angling it when I'm cutting it matters. And if I let my arm do a natural, just like move naturally, then it's gonna have different beveling angles all the way across and it's not gonna look good. And I've done that before, so I'm speaking from experience. Okay, so I'm in the backyard and this is my Dremel. Is it charged? Yes, it has power. Basically, it's gonna do things to this so that it is smooth, but because there's gonna be lots of particles flying around, I have to wear a face mask and other forms of PPE, personal protection equipment. So, here are these goggles, perfect for it. I also brought this out here with me so that I can make sure that this is gonna be the size that I want it to be, all right? So I'm using a sandpaperish cork tip. I'm not really sure what it's actually called, but I also have many other accessories that came with in case I want to switch out that tip. Here goes. You know, I'm actually gonna switch tips so that I can get more of it off because I don't think it's getting that much. And you know, I don't really understand a lot of this, how it works, but this is like supposedly like a round edge, right? I'm assuming it's something to do with pottery and calculus. Because I know that this edge is rougher, but it doesn't give like the same smoothness that this gives. I'm not sure. Here I go again. Is this what I want? No, it's not. Do you see what I mean by beveling it? You can tell that like this is like a different, or there's an angle to it, right? It's like 3D, so you can see that that's what I was trying to do. And it's actually pretty rough right now, so what I'm gonna do is switch tips back to this cork, other cork one, and smooth it out. This is my heat gun. It looks and acts just like a hairdryer, but it actually gets hotter than a hairdryer, and you don't want to touch this because it's like really hot. While I let that get hot, this has pores in it that need to be sealed by this. Okay, so we are back at the cutting board. This is what I came out with, if you didn't see it already. And I have these are my favorite scissors. They're really small and tiny. And I'm gonna make sure that I can clean up the edges just by snipping them off so that I have a nice smooth circle. But remember guys, perfect circles do not exist in nature. Wow, it actually looks so perfect now, guys. This is literally what I wanted it to be. Now, the next thing to do would be to actually paint it. But I'd say for this, most of its journey has finished. Check this out. It's gonna look like this, but yeah, now that I know how big the circle I'm gonna use is, I gotta make another one. All right, so I already just made this circle, right? That's what I just made. Now I have to make one of equal size for the bottom one right now, kind of, because it's not gonna just be a circle. It's gonna be something with some added curvature, like a pinched circle. So how am I gonna do that? Well, I think I'm just gonna use the same stencil that I used before and add a cool design to it. So how am I gonna do that perfectly? It looks like the easiest thing would be to fold it in half so that it's perfectly even all the way around. And then what? Take some scissors. And we want to be modest, right? So if it's going to be like this, that means I have to cut it like, I'm going to draw the line where I want it to be cut. So I'm going to kind of want it to be like this, right? I kind of want it to be like that on both sides. So I'm gonna fold it and then I'm just gonna cut it. Ta-da! Wow, it looks just like the picture, just like it. Honestly, that's nice. So let's use this to make another one. And I'm gonna do the same thing all over again. And you're gonna see all of it. Just kidding, I'm probably gonna just do this alone. Also, I'm kind of sick, so I think that this might just have to be the end of today's video now. But thank you so much for watching me. I feel like I'm a YouTuber. Anyways, bye. All right, so just kidding, that was not the end. So I cut out already this piece, and my plan is to bevel it. I wanna make it like round right here, the same way that it is round here. I'm pushing deeper and deeper into the little crevice that I'm trying to make, and that's actually making the crevice. You can actually feel it. It's like indented, right? And I'm gonna paint over it, so it's not gonna matter anyways. But I have to sort of bevel it, like I said, and then I wanna round this out because it's like too sharp. So it looks like I have this all figured out. I already have these two pieces cut out into foam. Now I just need to bevel that one, but I made the stencils for the rest of it, and I just have to make 2 of each piece, right? But I'm gonna turn these all into EVA foam pieces now, and then I'm one step closer to making the armor. So I outlined all the pieces. Now all there's left to do is to cut them out, bevel them, or whatever, smooth them out. Whoa, my hands look dirty. Whoa, oh my God, okay. So I cut them out next, and then I just Dremel them, but I'm gonna use this middle piece. I ended up using like some of it is going to be thin. I don't know if the thickness is gonna be right, but yeah, we're just gonna have to see it, like how it works. It is actually really satisfying using this cutting mat, and it turns out that like all my rough cuts, all the ones that were like super rough that were coming out like this were because I was using my own cutting mat. So I'm gonna not use it and show you just how satisfying it is using good EVA foam, a good cutting mat, and a good knife. It's just so smooth. It's like cutting butter. It's awesome. And then because I want that angle, like I told you guys earlier, I move things around. Check this out. Whoa. It's like cheese. It's like cutting the cheese. Actually, I don't think I went deep enough on that side, so. I just kind of redo it again. And then I just rip it off, pop it out. Ta-da! It's so nice. I'm gonna do it again. And let me just cut this off. This is like a good amount of EVA foam that I could use to make something else. That's why it goes into the scrap bin. The bin of scraps. Because whenever I need like just a small amount of foam, I have tons of scraps. And I'd be strapped. This is only my second cosplay where I'm using EVA foam. But I will say that the last cosplay I did that used a lot of it. I found myself going to the craft store just a crap ton. You saw how like crusty my helmet looked with the amount of like primer it had on it. Basically the primer is supposed to make it so that it's stable but still flexible, so that like if it's put under pressure then it won't rip. The thing is, you have to like let it dry completely before you put another coat, or else it's gonna get all crusty like you saw. Whoa, am I cutting the right thing? Okay, yeah. There's so many lines that I forget like if I'm cutting into another piece or not, which I could totally do on accident if I'm not focused or careful. Wait, I keep forgetting which one I'm even cutting because there's so many lines. But the way that I put them on like this so that there's like little space in between so I can make the most out of my foam. I wanted everything to kind of fit on one sheet. And if I mess up, it's okay, I have lots of space. But there's this one video by Comely Cosplay. She is the most knowledgeable cosplayer that I know of. I mean, I'm sure there's tons of other cosplayers out there that know as much or more than her. But she's been cosplaying for like over 10 years. And her videos are so educational. And she has a husband who also does cosplay stuff, but he does like 3D printing, and he's really good at like painting too. They're like a crazy power couple. And they both together with their videos have taught me so much. And eventually I would totally love to be a teacher just like them. But that would mean I have to have stuff to teach. And I totally could teach what I know now. That's not what I'm not saying I don't know enough to teach, but I feel like I have to make myself more experienced first, because there's so much I still want to learn. There's so much for me to learn, and I'm not making cosplay tutorials, I'm just making cosplays. So that's the point of these videos. You get to see how I figure out how I'm doing things. And I get to see, I don't know, I think it's gonna be cool to like look back and watch my own videos and be like, hey, I could have done this a different way if only I knew what I know now. And it's coming out. Yes. It's just so nice to just pull apart like it's cream or something. It's just so nice. Oh my God, it's so satisfying. And then because everything's like kind of flat, the next thing that I would do is actually heat shape it. But I also have to glue them together, so I'm not sure if I should do that first or if I should heat shape it first. There's so many things that you must do to the foam, and I often get confused on which one would work better if I did first. I think you just have to do it and then figure it out. There's no right way to do anything, guys. Art is art. Like, there's so many different ways to get the same outcome. That's why I hate, like, learning that there's only one way to do something, because there isn't. Like, you can learn a better way to do something, but that doesn't mean it's the better case scenario for the best case for all the scenarios. All right, it looks like I got everything, so I'm gonna put all my scraps together, figure out which ones I'm gonna throw away, figure out which ones I wanna keep. Like, that's a big piece. Should probably throw this away. But remember how I talked about like cosplay just being about like trash? Just so much, you just end up with so much trash. Okay, are you guys ready to see the rough vision? Here it is, and this is not a good angle. There's a bunch of stuff that has to happen here, but this is kind of a start, right? There's a bunch of beveling, cutting, gluing, shaping that has to go into this, but this is the beginning, guys. I'm really excited.